I'm Kelsey Chittick.
And I'm October Gonzalez. And you're listening to Keep On.
Welcome back to Keep On the podcast. We're glad you guys are here today. And we could have gone and looked all around the world for a guest, but today we chose to talk to October Gonzalez.
Yo, what's up?
Hello, October.
Hello.
I've been wanting to ask Toby about this story for a really long time. And I think both of us feel when we're talking about our personal lives, there is some decorum or something that we want to honor because we're talking about our children and we're talking about their lives also. And so we've waited a while to share the story of the newest member in your family.
Our white member.
Our very white, my
love
child.
her, but she is the singular white person in this, family of ours.
So, I mean, to start, what I want to talk to Toby about today is their youngest daughter, who is 4, and just how she became a part of this family. And I think there's a lot of people that may be interested in fostering or adoption, or even just trying to decide if they're going to have another baby or not, and what that does to a family and what it does, what gifts it brings, what challenges it brings. And I think a lot of people look at you on social media and, as you have that damn picture of everybody sitting on the mansion step with the golden doodle and everything looks like
it's perfect. What do you mean?
It's perfect. And it's like every color of every rainbow and the kids are different sizes and it's a mixed family of steps and adopted and biological. But I think it's important that people know you all work really hard at it and it's not easy. And that, to stick with Keep On, that gifts come not always exactly as you expect.
Nor when you expect.
So can you just talk to me first about your experience of who you were raised with so people have some background on the karmic and cosmic beauty of this story?
Oh my gosh. I think it honestly goes all the way back. And it starts with my grandmother, to be honest. My grandmother, and I don't think she'd mind me sharing this, but was married very young at the age of 18, I think maybe even younger. But my grandfather went away to war almost immediately after they got married. And my grandmother was young and she was going out with her friends and she didn't really know who she was. And she ended up falling in love with a man after she had married my grandfather and he was at war. And she became pregnant. And you didn't do that back then.
That's right.
That was actually, you were very shamed and you were kind of written off if you did something like that by your family. And my grandfather came back, and even though she was in love with this other man, I think she was still in love with my grandfather as well. And he said, I can live with this mistake, but I need you to give up the baby if we're going to continue in our relationship. And so my grandmother wanted to do the right thing, especially because she felt so wrong in what she had done by getting pregnant. And she gave up this baby for adoption. And this baby was adopted by a great family. And this child, which is my aunt now, ended up contacting my grandmother and forming a relationship with my family.
So your grandmother had a baby that was then put up for adoption. And that
stayed
woman
with her husband, her original husband, and then had 4 more kids after.
Had 4 more kids.
One of them being my mother.
One of them being your mother. So you have your biological mother has a half sister.
Yes. So my mother has a half sister that was adopted, and then they ended up coming into contact later on in life. So that's kind of like where it all began. It began with my grandmother giving up my aunt for adoption. Okay. Fast forward. My mother, as you guys all know, if you've listened to previous episodes, that was in and out of rehabs and had a lot of problems. And after she had passed, I had nowhere to go. I was virtually basically homeless. And my grandmother,
sisters went to.
Well, my grandmother was kind of just scouring our family to see where somebody might take us and could take us in. And nobody could take on 3 girls, right? I mean, that's just a lot to ask of anyone. So we were all going to be separated, and we knew that. So my sister ended up being taken in by my grandmother, who didn't have a lot of money, so that she could only take one. Okay. My half-sister, Noelle, my mom's daughter, ended up being taken in by another aunt and uncle. And then out of nowhere, my adopted Aunt Donna, who had now formed a relationship with my grandmother, called up, and I think she had met me twice. And she's like, you know what? I'd love to take Toby. She's old enough. I've never had kids. I feel like she's self-sufficient. Let me go ahead and take her in. So it's just all kind of interesting. And then a year later, my mom ended up passing, and I ended up spending the remainder, of my childhood with this aunt who had been adopted. She ended up taking me in and essentially adopting me.
So hold the phone.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just take a minute so that everyone can grasp the beauty of that when you go on to the next story. So there was an aunt that your mother didn't know, a sister your mother didn't know she had till much later. She wasn't really in your life. Your mother passes. This aunt who was adopted and raised by an adopted family and loved, decided to pay it forward. And by some way, she found out that you needed a home and brought you in. She turned out to be probably the most well-off of the people that
Very
was
well off. Yeah.
able to take you. And wow. I mean, I knew the story, but now you piece it together. So a sister needs help, and a half-sister comes in and takes over. So then so that's your story of being raised by an adoptive aunt.
Yeah.
So then let's fast forward to 2014. Tony and Toby have a beautiful family. They have Nico, which is Toby's stepson. They have a girl and a boy.
Yep.
And then they do what every family does. They got a golden doodle.
We did. I wanted another baby, people. You know how you do it. You like, all right, maybe we'll just try a puppy.
Right.
That's every husband's way of shutting their wife up when they're like, maybe we should have one more.
And I remember you all talking about having another child. And I remember you saying things very clearly out loud. I mean, I just kind of want it to come. I want the baby to come. You and I didn't.
I always wanted to adopt. I put that out there in the universe for sure.
And you didn't really want to be pregnant again.
I did not. If you saw me towards the end of my last pregnancy, I was not well.
So you and Tony kind of went back and forth. And I remember there was a time where you were like, well, we're probably not going to, we'll see. But you weren't sure. Things were going well.
Yeah.
How old was River?
River was about 4.
He was 4, right.
Yeah.
So tell us then kind of the backstory of your sister and then how Sophia ended up in your home.
Okay. So my half-sister, Noelle.
Half-sister again, just like your mother had a half-sister.
She had a lot of problems as a child because of everything that she had been through and everything she had seen. So the family that ended up taking her in couldn't deal with her. She had just so much trauma, and she ended up being kind of toxic, and she was just very difficult. So she ended up being raised in group homes, and sometimes, no, I would say most of the time, group homes do a good job at keeping track of all the kids and keeping them on a schedule, and because they're responsible for the kids. The state is essentially responsible for each child in a group home. But by the time these kids are 18, they get booted out with no life skills. They have no coping mechanisms. They have no idea how to make a right decision because every decision's been made for them up until they're 18. So most of them, the statistics are pretty devastating, but most of them end up on the streets or on drugs. And unfortunately, my sister ended up being one of those statistics, and she ended up getting in with the wrong crowd, turning to drugs, and getting pregnant really early on with her first child. I think about 18 or 19, and then continued on that same path, and had another baby. And then
all these babies were
adopted. Yeah, we would come in last minute, and swoop in and try to find these families. And I was very young too at these times, and I would help her find these families. And these kids have all been adopted by really beautiful, amazing families.
Right.
So fast forward, she shows up basically on my doorstep pregnant.
So this is like 2014, 2013.
No, this is before that. This is 2011 or something. She shows up on my doorstep. And she's pregnant with twin boys.
I remember this.
And she comes in and she's like, I want to get sober. I need to figure out what to do with these boys. And I had just had Malia. Malia was only not even a year. And I was like, we can't put these boys into the system. If a miracle from God doesn't come and happen, we have to take these boys. And Tony's like, whoa, twin boys? We just had a baby. This is crazy. And I said, well, I can't give them up to the state. So we have to just leave it up to the universe, leave it up to God to let us know what we're supposed to do. And so we said, okay. So Noelle came in and she got sober. She was doing really great. And this family came about. This pastor and his wife came in, and they're been trying to have kids for years. And they were just so excited and just really wanted to have these boys. And they ended up having the boys and taking them in and adopting them, which was great. Noelle was doing really well for about a year and a half, and then relapsed. And then I think 2-3 years after that, I got a phone call, and I knew in my gut that she was pregnant again. And this was with her fourth pregnancy, 5th child. Right. She's like, Toby, I'm going to get sober for this one. This is the one I'm going to have. This is the one I want to keep. This is the one I'm going to do it for. And, you know, my feeling is that, oh no, what about this baby?
Right.
That sounds great for you. But what about this poor little baby?
Right.
So she did not treat her body the way she should have, being pregnant, you know, for 9 months. I think she got sober 2 weeks maybe before, because if a baby's born addicted to drugs in any hospital, CPA has to swoop in and kind of take the child and do all sorts of, you know, get so much information about what's going on and make sure it's safe for the baby to go home. So she knew how it went because she'd done it a few times, and she's like got sober for 2 weeks, and she knew that if the baby was born not addicted to drugs and if she wasn't high at the specific time of birth, she could take the baby home. So she had the baby. I show up at the hospital. I see her. She goes, what should I name her? And we named her together.
I remember that.
Which is so crazy.
Yep.
And
was this the first time you'd gone to a birth?
No, I'd been at most of them, except for like one, I think.
Okay.
And then it was about a month or two, maybe 2 months, that I got a phone call, and she said, I have no running water, no electricity. Can you come pick up Sophia for a couple days?
And I think I was with you the day you got that phone call, because then we started to call people to see if you could get a baby seat. And you'd just given away all your baby stuff.
Yeah, she gave me nothing but some diapers.
Right. And so people started to bring stuff over. And so now she just needed a little help, right? That was the message to you.
That was a little help.
Which was, can you just come?
But in my gut, it was like a lot of help. She needed a lot of help. At 3 days turned into a week.
Right. And how was Sophia when she first arrived?
She had a flat head. She didn't cry. She didn't make a peep. You know, babies cry because they want to be changed, or they want a bottle, or they're hungry, or whatever it is. But clearly none of those things were happening when she cried. So I think she just stopped, and she just kind of just sat there like a little lump.
Yep.
You know, it was very sad. And then a week later, we dropped her back off. My sister said, you know, we got everything together. Everything's great. I got her nursery done, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay.
How did you feel when you had to take her back?
I felt very reluctant, very
hopeful,
worried. Hopeful, but like reluctant. And I knew that I'd be getting another phone call. Like my gut was like, this is not the end of this situation, because she has no tools to be able to raise a child. She just doesn't.
And no resources.
No resources, no tools. And as much as you love a child, the most selfless thing you can do is be aware of that and know that even though you want a child, like you can't give them what they need and what they deserve. So what's best for the child?
Right.
So I got a call again after about another month. Sophia was about 3 months at this point. I came and picked her up because she was screaming and she was sick. And for whatever reason, my sister couldn't get her to the doctor. So I pick her up and I'm pissed. Right. You know, I'm pretty mad. And I'm like, you can't get this baby to the doctor. Like I want to like smack you.
Right. Like I've had it.
Yeah, I've had it, and I'm irritated, and I'm just like, give me the baby, pick her up. Tony comes with me, you know, and I look at him, and she had to be on a nebulizer. She had like some breathing issues, and who knows what's in that house and what's going on. I don't know. I know it's not good.
Right.
So, you know, it was very hard. Once she got comfortable. And she knew that she stayed at our house for like a month at that point. And I had the newborn baby, and I was not prepared for this. So I was about to have a nervous breakdown.
I remember.
So she hadn't cried up until I think a month that she was with us the second time. And then she got comfortable.
She said,
and she felt safe.
I like Huntington Beach Mansions.
She said, I like you people.
I think this
and
is
when
a
I
good place
cry,
to be.
I think that when I scream, you guys are going to get up and you're going to get me a bottle.
You seem like attentive folks.
So she proceeded to scream for months.
Right, because it was all inside of her.
Shrieking, shrilling, painful, blood-curdling screams that would drive any person crazy.
Sure.
I could not handle it. Tony and I were like, what are we going to do?
She was sleeping in y'all's room.
Oh, my God. It was really, really tough.
Can we pause and just, because there are other kids in this family, right? So tell me what it was like. Because kids feel, I think, out of control. And I learned that with Nate's death. There's nothing worse than kids being surprised.
Yeah.
And I know they need to be flexible. I know that's part of life. Yeah. But do you remember how it was for River and Malia when you brought her home and you're like, she's staying? And I guess it's very similar to if your mom is pregnant and she comes back and she's like,
she wasn't just staying. Tony was like, I'm sorry, what? I'm sorry, you want her to what? It was very like, I had to flip the script on him, and like most men, I had to let him come to it on his own. Make him feel like it's what he wants, and allow him to make the choice, and not feel like I've just put this on him.
Right.
Like, you have to do
like
this.
you don't have a choice.
And if you don't do this, then I'm going to resent you for forever. I didn't want to create that situation.
Sure.
I needed it to be both of us on board with this. This is a lifelong decision.
This isn't a golden doodle.
This isn't a golden doodle. This isn't, a few years and over. This is a lifetime of a commitment.
So it was just understood that as time went by, nobody was coming back to get her.
I think my sister and I both knew that it wasn't working. Mm-hmm. And it broke her heart. It broke my heart, because I want nothing more than for my sister to be able to raise a child and get her life together and have this baby. But there's no way.
Right.
There's no way.
Did you kind of always know in your heart that you would adopt somehow, some way? You didn't know where or what?
Oh, yeah.
Did it feel like if looking back, are you like, well, of course?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. So you kind of know that your heart, that there's this karmic payback that your aunt did for you and you're doing for your half sister. Mm-hmm. And we can talk more about how do we stop those transgenerational karmic paybacks. You don't want this to become the story.
Yeah, but I also love the pay it forward idea.
But it's gorgeous in the sense that everybody keeps showing up. What has been the hardest part for you all as a family? Because if you're looking at adoption and you're looking at fostering, of course, all of our hearts are like, we'd love to do it. But I think the day-to-day of really taking on something like this, what's the honest side? And we can talk about the gifts too, but what's the hardest part for you all and has been? And does it get easier? Is it harder?
I don't even know how to answer that. I think every kid's hard. I think there's no this is so, kids are hard. So
is it pretty cool now that all the kids are yours, but they just came to you in different ways, whether it be Nico, Malia, River, Sophia?
Exactly.
What are the gifts of Sophia?
Oh God, there's a million. It's in Sophia specifically, because to me, she gives me, she is by far my toughest kid. Mm-hmm. And I know that's a lot of that is because of, her epigenetics.
Yep.
And because of the way her mother treated her body while she was pregnant. And so I try to create a environment where my kids are aware and we're very honest. We have a very open, honest conversation about why Sophia is the way she is. And we try to create empathy around it instead of anger, because we can get very easily frustrated with her and lose our minds and be like, what the heck? Like, why is she like this? So I try to create it, especially with the kids, some sympathy and some, understanding around it, so that they don't just think that this, why are we putting up with this kid acting like this?
Right.
And so all of us can kind of cater to her a little bit more in the areas that she needs. So it's been really hard on my middle kid to have her, because we didn't have 9 months to prepare for her arrival.
Right. And talk
she
about
just
it and
appeared,
read the books.
And I was in survival mode during the whole beginning when she came. And I probably neglected the feelings and emotions and all with my other two kids. Nico was fine, my oldest. He just kind of was just a roll with the flow kind of guy already. He'd been bouncing back and forth between his mom and his dad forever. But my two little ones were kind of not understanding what was going on and why, especially my little one. So he fought really hard for attention and got very jealous and very angry.
Right.
And I talk about this with Tony all the time. I have a lot of guilt surrounding it, that I wasn't as available for him because Sophia was so needy of me during that particular time. It's definitely balanced out now, but Tony's so funny. He's always like, that's going to be his chip. That's his chip on his shoulder. That's part of his story. That's part of his journey. But at the end of the day, that kid's going to grow up and he's going to know that we did what we had to do and we tried to do the right thing.
And just your awareness of it, just your awareness that when this dynamic changed in your family, if all of us just gave ourselves some grace around, we know we did that. Okay. Yeah. So now you turn to River and say, listen, this is a true experience you had. I'm sorry I wasn't available. Sorry. But I'm here now.
Yeah.
So I do think as parents and as children, we forgive once people hold themselves accountable.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Own it.
Like, okay, I'm sorry I was a little bit overwhelmed when you were 4.
And I see him. He's always like, I still see him as that 4-year-old kid. Like, he's still looking around like, what's going on?
And that's so
what's
true.
happening?
And it's funny, if you look at River, and we talk about this a lot, there's this sense of no one's telling me what's I don't know where I'm going. But and I think, we can spin the story that it started there. But but now you tell him things, and he still can. He has a lot of questions. So we don't really know what comes from our environment and the things that happened, and what is just part of our kids. How has it changed your marriage, or did it? Because I think River and Malia, you guys were kind of humming along there. 2 kids.
I would say it was a little too easy. It was just a little too easy.
Right.
I don't believe that life is supposed to be this like, life is just great and it's so smooth and it's so wonderful. And look at our 2 little model children and their monogrammed outfits. Like,
the day you monogram, it's the day I know you've been abducted by an alien.
Me, yes, definitely.
But I'm hoping a big G ends up on a shower curtain someday.
God, my worst nightmare.
I know.
So I think that for Sophia, what was I just saying? What was the question?
Just how it changed your marriage.
Oh,
what was?
Yeah, it was too easy. It was too easy. So, and I don't believe in that, and I definitely didn't experience that in my upbringing. So, even though I welcomed functionality and smoothness and calmness, and I wanted all of that, I also knew that that's probably not how it's supposed to be. And life is supposed to be teaching you things at all times. And how are you supposed to be learning if you're not going through something and kind of challenging yourself,
right?
Taking yourself to the next level of going like, what can I handle? What am I capable of? What can I do? So when Sophia came, it was a beautiful gift of like, can we do this? This is going to be hard. This is going to be crazy. This is going to take a lot of work emotionally, financially, all of it.
Yeah.
And are we capable of doing this? And of course we are. Tony's mom, so crazy. She ended up taking in 3 high school boys when Tony was in high school, and they lived with her.
There's a long tradition in your family,
in Tony's
family, of opening your home up for kids who need a place. And God, I wish if I could learn anything from you all, and I learn that whenever I'm around you guys. But there is a sense that everybody's welcome in your home, and everyone's welcome to stay. I mean, you'd be fine if all the beds were full every night.
Yep.
And I think that is because of how you were raised, which you know what it feels like to need a place, to need some support, to be the one that doesn't have the mom or the dad they can count on. I think in the way I was raised, everybody's very like Anglo-Saxon white Christian. Like, we have dinner and we have candles and we have the boy, the girl, and the 2 parents, and we sit and take turns talking.
Yeah, I'd be bored out of my mind.
Oh my God, yeah. But there's a real fluidity to the way you all allow people to come into your lives and show up and stay for a while if they need, that I could learn from and would love to move in that direction.
Yeah, I feel like you do that.
I'm getting better, but it's a lot of watching you all say, you can serve people for, I think what I get afraid about is that they'll stay forever. And you're saying, well,
you're like, time to go.
But I think sometimes the stay forever is so beautiful. So tell me a little bit about your relationship with Sophia, because I've seen you mother Malia, and Malia and Addison are best friends. And Malia is just like, she's not real. She's just going to like save the earth and whales and be happy. River's River. He's just filled with energy. But Sophia, to me, when I look in that girl's eyes, there is a wisdom. So sometimes I think, and we talk about this all the time on Keep On, that our hardest moments are our greatest gifts. And I think Sophia really is your greatest gift because she keeps asking more of you.
Oh my God.
She asks you for more patience.
Sometimes I'm like, I don't have anything left. What do you want from me?
Yes. And she wants you so much. And she wants to connect with you so much. But she bids for you by sometimes not behaving and not listening. And what has she taught you in her like unique ability of driving you insane, that you are able to, at least see from afar now and go, look at the way I react to that.
Yeah, I think, oh God, she's so smart.
She's the smartest child.
She's so smart. But the sad part is that in utero, you disconnect. When a mother disconnects from a child, even if they try to reconnect after, my sister wasn't sure if she was going to keep Sophia through a lot of pretty far into her pregnancy. And when you disconnect from a child in utero, they emotionally, they feel it. They know it and they feel it, and something happens there mentally,
like hormonally, like you're not mine.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want you.
Yeah. So Sophia came out into this world like, I'm on my own. Like, I know that when I get here, I got to survive. I'm on my own. I can't need anything from anyone. And I'm going to fight to get whatever it is and wherever I need to go.
And we've talked about this. I think that Sophia still thinks she lives in a crack house. But she's like, wait a second, how did I end up in Beverly Hills? And her little psyche can't catch up that life can be easy because she was born ready to fight and survive. But she doesn't have to, but she still walks around like she's going to fight someone.
She has these moments, and I'll catch her because I'll just be looking at her from afar when she's not looking. I mean, in just these great scenarios at a birthday party or times when kids are just elated and they're just having the best time. And I will see her go from being like, this is great, I'm having the best time, to something, I see something change or click over in her brain that goes, no, I'm not happy.
Right. Don't let your guard down.
No. This isn't okay. Something's wrong. And I'm gonna find a reason to be upset.
Right. Because
I'm going to be frustrated. I'm going to find someone to be frustrated with, and I'm going to find someone to be angry with, and I'm going to create something here where there doesn't need to be a something.
So I can get back to being angry.
And
surviving
because
and
that
fighting.
Feels right for her to be fighting or angry towards something.
You're such a good mom to know that.
It's hard, and it's so sad when you see a 4-year-old struggle mentally with that choice, because we want to create an environment and a safety around her so that she knows not to click over. She goes, no. Instead of, when she gets to a certain age, for her to go, I have a choice right now. I have a choice to go and create something that isn't real because it feels comfortable to be mad and it feels good. And whatever that feeling is, like, I want to go there, to go, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to click over to that place that I go to, that defensive side, that old path. We're trying to create like new paths for her.
Do you know how lucky she is to have a parent that's aware and doesn't just go crazy on her? I mean, I know.
Don't get it twisted.
I know.
I will go crazy.
I've seen it, but I didn't believe it until we all went to Europe. And when we were there, I didn't believe it until we all went to Europe. Like, who says that? Shoot me now.
Who are you now? You changed.
I've changed. But she was having a really tough night, and what I've noticed with Sophia is when she flips out, she turns into like a 17-year-old.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like a toddler.
Nope. She has nothing baby about her.
Where some people, when like my daughter reverses down to young, yours actually becomes like a 22-year-old smoking a cigarette, like, not happening, lady.
Not happening.
And she wouldn't budge. And I think I'm like the child whisperer because I have no lack of self-confidence in most areas of my life. And I mean, I couldn't.
You can't break her.
I couldn't break her. I didn't know what to do. I was at a loss, and she was running me. I was afraid of her.
Most adults are.
She was tiny.
Very afraid of her.
She was tiny, but I was scared of her, and I took her outside. We went on a walk. I would have bought her anything just to make that evilness in her eye go away.
She's like, I don't want you.
Yes.
And she gets so angry.
We were sitting on the couch waiting for you all and down in the lobby, and she said to me, Auntie Kelsey, are all mommies as boring as you?
She's so good. She will cut
First of all, I said that hurts
you.
Because I am boring.
Yeah.
And how you knew that when I seem to be acting my most fun right now is really bothersome.
You know what? I could tell you knew that was going to hurt me.
Did you know I never say yes to parties? But I just want to say that I have judged you along the way, thinking I somehow knew
You're like,
what was best or what you should do or how you should do it. And again, going back to kind of what we talked about in the episode about Steve and I falling in love, you've taught me that until you're in that person's shoes, there is no judgment, just gratitude that you stepped up. And I don't know that I could do it. So you've really shown that, like, until you're the one doing this,
right,
step back.
Right. Everyone's like, oh, you should adopt. Oh, everyone, you shouldn't get an abortion. You shouldn't do these things. And everybody has all these judgments around so many things. But I don't see you adopting a kid.
Right.
I don't see all these people out here that are having all these opinions about all these different things going and adopting children.
I totally agree.
adopt a kid and then come back and tell me what I should do.
And then run a group on adoption.
And run a group on adoption and all these other like movements you want to make. But it's hard.
Oh my God. No,
it's hard to put your money where your mouth is.
You've humbled me on that so much because I have such an idea on how to raise children properly. Mm-hmm. And I just, you're doing it. And that's half the battle. And so, I guess what I want to know is for you, and I think we can keep talking about this as Sophia gets older.
Yeah.
What do you hope she says when she's 18 and she's heading off to college to you?
Oh,
what does she hope she says
cry.
To you and Tony?
It's gonna make me cry.
You very rarely cry.
I know. Well, I just hope that she knows like how much we love her and that she was always wanted.
Yes.
Even by her birth mother, that she was always wanted, and that in a way, she's gonna feel like I saved her, but in a million different ways, she saved me. There was so much guilt that I had when my sister went into foster care and I was being raised by this wealthy aunt over on the other side of the tracks, and I couldn't get to her and I wanted to. I wanted to save her, all those things. So the greatest gift for me in this is that I got the opportunity to save her, but in a different way. I got to save my niece, I got to take her in and show her the love that I wanted to show my sister at the time that she was gone and out of my life. So this to me, and I know to Tony as well, she is the greatest thing, along with my other kids. She's one of the greatest gifts and the greatest things we've ever done. And I hope she knows that we love her and that we've always believed in her and that there wasn't a second that we even thought about giving up or regretting our choice or thinking anything other than she's ours and we love her and we're so proud of her because she's working just as hard as we are. Right. We're all working together to get through this, and I just hope she feels proud of herself.
It's just about the best thing I've ever heard in my life. God, I hope she listens to this because that's all every kid wants to know is that she's so loved. And I will tell her from the day you got the first call, you were in, and that you two together are just you're teaching each other a lot.
Oh my gosh.
And it took a lot of things happening for you two to end up together in the same home.
Yeah.
And that's a beautiful way of looking at it, that you are getting to pay back to Noelle what you couldn't do when you were 15, 16.
Yeah.
And you didn't have any agency. Mm-hmm. So,
and I know my mom's up there like so proud. She's so happy.
Oh, she's so proud. Yeah. And whatever Sophia is learning now, I can't imagine your family without Sophia in it. I can imagine it without Chica, the golden doodle.
She's crazy.
But I can't imagine it. It just works. And no, I'm your biggest fan around that.
Thank you. Well, we're the lucky ones, right?
I agree.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
Just to make it weird, but my nanny is now her nanny.
Yeah.
My old one. And it's a cool
that was
bridge.
Meant to be.
Yeah, 100%. So before we close, because that was a beautiful ending, and we'll follow up with it as she grows up and we figure all this out as parents. But what are you most afraid of for her?
For her, I just don't look at her any different than the rest of my kids. My fears for her are the same fears I have for the others. Is that they feel like my fear is that she ever feels like she can't. I don't want her to ever feel like she can't. I always want my kids to feel like they can do and be whatever the hell they want to be and go wherever they want to do and not feel trapped with anyone, with any job, in any place, that they feel safe enough and capable enough to go and be and do whatever they want. Yeah.
Perfect. And then what is your most favorite thing about Sophia?
I will say that, Tony and I are constantly reminded that she does have my DNA in there somewhere. She's got a personality on her. Her wit and her charm, when she turns that on, she just shines, and I can't wait to see that develop more. And she's just hilarious. She keeps our family laughing and she keeps our family challenged and she keeps us working towards getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think you're a great mom. I've seen you over the past couple of years do huge work
Thank you.
showing up for your kids, and you weren't given a lot of great models.
No,
So
it's not.
People need to understand that even though you aren't, given the best parent doesn't mean you don't get to have a second chance with your kids. And I see you working hard all the time.
Thank you.
So I guess this was not a petty, but this was a painful but beautiful story.
Yes, beautiful.
And
with a beautiful ending.
With a beautiful ending, and it's just beginning. I can't
Yeah.
wait to hear, and I can't wait when Keep On is in its 19th year. And I'm in my 60s. I can't wait for Sophia to come on and just really share what her experience has been. But to everybody listening, thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed this episode. And remember, no matter what life gives you,
keep on
keeping on. Thank you for listening. Please comment and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Keep On Podcast. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel, Keep On, where you can see full videos of each episode. Please rate and comment on Apple Podcast. We would love to hear from you.